Well, guys, I can't tell, but I don't know if that's the smear on my lens or if that's just the way the lighting is, but it's like right there. But thanks, Canada. You and your fucking wildfires, and of course you got California being a dick about it too, but I think this is all coming from Canada. So, but I guess you can blame the Canadian government on that one. So, because I did hear up to I guess a few years ago, whatever, Canada did have, I guess, some kind of a fire program they had going on. That's what I call it anyway. But they did control burning every year to, I guess, help with this. But then I guess they decided to stop doing that because they cared about the environment too fucking much. And look what happens anyway. The son of a bitch burns. Fucking morons. But you know what? California ain't much better either, but at least California fucking tries. And but then in the process, we gotta freaking suffer. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I thought it was somebody here in Minnesota, like, I don't know, some high-powered fuckface, you know, person that supposedly sent a letter up into Canada, I guess, to the government over there, and basically just said, hey, you gotta, you know, start doing something about this because this is getting to be ridiculous. And whatever else, right? They're just basically going off on Canada, saying this is all your fault. It's not always Canada's fault, but, you know, it's kind of 50-50, you know. Sometimes it can be California's fault because we've had fire or smoke come up here from California. Smoke can travel thousands of miles. So it's not really just Canada. California can do it too. So, but it wasn't smoky earlier today, but they said that it was going to start rolling in this afternoon. Sure enough, it's what it's been doing. Over the last hour, it's been rolling in. So, and she rolled in pretty thick. So this might help. I don't know if this will stick around for next week, but next week is supposed to be kind of like in the 80s and 90s, which I guess we need it too, because we need to get some hay cut. We'll get into that too, and whatever else. But then it gets so blasted hot too. I think with the smoke, it actually does help control heat a little bit, even though it's hard on our lungs. But it's mostly just to the older generation and the babies that probably can't, and people that have a weak immune system that can't handle this. It doesn't really bother me. I just don't like breathing it in when I'm trying to sleep at night. Or if it happens to be really thick, right now it's coming in pretty good, but it's been worse. So right now this wouldn't bother me a whole heck of a lot, but so but anyways, what's going on? Well, the cows they're not complaining yet, but they're running out of food, and I didn't know if I was going to cut anything today or not, because I don't know what my uncle wants to do, because he's made threats about just going and getting a bail from the young guy, just to kind of tie us over for a while. But then we got some ground that we could cut. Of course, I cannot cut the trail because yesterday morning we got a shower, which, you know, effed us over. So the trail is basically a freaking mud hole at this point. And let's turn that down. So basically, yeah, it wasn't a downpour, it was just like a gentle shower. but it was enough to wet stuff. I don't know if that trail would be like dry now or not. I checked it earlier and it was still, I even checked it yesterday too and it was still damp. So I don't think we're going to be cutting that anytime soon, because the plans were kind of just, if we had to start cutting hay, I was kind of hoping that maybe we could start on the trail, and then I'm going to work my way this way. Because there's some hay over here that I'm going to cut. I think I'm going to cut it anyway. I don't give a shit. Well, this we can cut, because I don't believe anybody ever does cut it, but unless they are going to work on the bridge at some point here this year, but I think it's just going to be on the top, because they're talking about shutting one lane down, so there's a possibility that they may just work on the top. But anyways, I wanted to cut the trail, and then after that I'm gonna cut this. I can cut all this because this is right next to our land, and I don't think the state really ever mows it. There's not much here. It's actually better the further you get down here. So the further you go down here, then the better it is. Yeah, so like right up in there, up along the property line, that's all really good grass. I'm gonna cut right up to here. I got a cone here. Now somebody did mow this, but that's because they have to have something here, so if they have to get in here for whatever reasons they can, right? So I'm going to cut all this, and this is where all the really good grass is, right up to where my no trespassing sign is at. All that can get cut. I was going to probably cut it tonight, but I don't know what my uncle wants to fucking do. So, and then I was just going to stop kind of right at the bush. Wasn't really going to cut any of that because I don't know what's in there, and there's not really nothing much in there worth cutting. So, but then I'm going to cut some of the stuff under the bridge here too, because I don't think they're going to be cutting it anytime soon. I don't know if we'll even do it or not, because I don't know what my uncle wants to do. If it was just me, if these were just all my cattle, that's what I would be doing. And we are pretty much, they're out of grass, but yet they're not really. They broke out yesterday morning at like 7 a.m. One did. But that was about it. So, yeah, I gotta quit coming down here too. I've been coming down here quite a bit, but ran over some of this hay. This hay should have already been cut and baled, but the fucking weather. So, but anyways, I don't think it's not this one that I want to cut. Something under there, because that's all got the Canadian burdocks in that. So, but I think it was this one I wanted to cut. It does have some burdocks in it, but that's all right. We'll just mix it in with the grass. So it's this section. I'm pretty sure it was this one I wanted to cut. Wait for the truck to go by. So we'll cut this one for hay. And then it takes forever when you're walking. This section. This is another section I wanted to cut, because this just has grass in it. It's a little short, but that's just because it doesn't get any rain, really. because the bridge protects it, obviously. So that's 2, and they're good size. And I don't think the state's going to mow it, because they probably would have done it by now. And then there's one more. I got to skip one section, because this section now, it's coming up, has a pond in it. I don't know what the pond is for. It's all buried with rocks and stuff, so must just be a place for the water to dump from the bridge, which is fine. But they lined it with rock, obviously, so the water can't wash it away. I think then it was this section here. I think this is the other section I wanted to cut. So this would have been section number 3 that I would cut. There again, the grass is a little bit shorter in here, but that's just because of no rain. But, you know, you mix it all together, it'll be pretty much the same. I think you can see where I walked in here. I was already in here earlier today. Look, damn burdocks. They're in our field now. I got 2 or 3 that I cut down. So then that's 3. And then, I don't know, I think this would be number 4, but I don't know if I was going to cut this one. I don't think I ever walked it. And I don't know. We're losing so much height here now. I don't think it's going to be very tight. I don't know. I mean, I think the 400 could fit in here, but I don't know. I don't think I walked that one, so I don't know what's in there. So there's at least 3 or 4 sections that we could easily cut. I don't think they're going to care too much that we cut it. If anything, they should like that. But, and here would be, you almost could cut this one. Almost. But I think it might be a little too low even for the 400. I don't know. There's the bottom of it. So we'd be cutting it off a fucking close. But I want to at least cut those 3 down there a ways. Then we could just cut these. If we felt like it, we could cut them later on or whatever, right? So there's at least 3 or 4 sections here that we could cut. And that we could have cut today. So, but I don't know what my uncle wants to do. So, because he won't ever give you an answer. And I guess the cows aren't complaining. So, you know, that one broke out. So, because I have 2 sections that I'm letting grow in, but I think it's too late now that they're not going to really do anything. But the north garden, I'm letting that grow in, but that's never going to get anything like this. It's too late now. If I would have not mowed it, period, it would have been just like this. Then that would have been the first thing I cut, because it would have been right there by the house. So what do you do, right? So, and then the junkyard, or the junk pile, that grass, it's about this, almost. And this has been mowed already, but it's about that. Some of it, not all of it. Some of it's a lot shorter than that. So that might be ready to cut probably another week or 2. I don't know. So I don't know if it'll even grow much more than it already has now. I think it might have just given up already, because it's already so late in the year. But I guess you could still cut it if you wanted to. And then, yeah. So this is all new stuff that I want to try to cut. I wasn't really too sure if I wanted to or not. but I think we should because it's here. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not going to be enough to obviously get us through, but I was hoping that maybe it would be enough until we got. No, I'm crazy even thinking that, because we need enough grass to last us for another month, because the pasture is slowing down. The ex-mayor's field has slowed down, and of course the cows keep going on there and they're picking on it anyway. So, but I mean, with a mix of that and then, hay that we cut ourselves, that could tie them over for a couple of weeks, but it's still not going to be enough. Oh, and then the trail. I forgot about the trail. So the garden, the junk pile, the trail is ready to be cut. I could cut that now if I wanted to, but it's just, so. And then this is all stuff I've decided maybe I'll cut too, if we need it, which I think we may or may not need it, but so I did call the young guy earlier today. I just wanted to see where he was in cutting. Yeah, he's behind, and I think he said that he already lost one field. Just constant fucking rain. Couldn't even get out to flip it. So I just had to let it go. So, but yeah. So what do you fucking do, And then he was thinking maybe. Well, he said that. Well, I imagine he is right now. I don't know, but earlier he said he was going to go out and try to bale some hay. He says he's got some roadside ditches that he wants to go and bale because they're ready. So, but well, what do you do? He was thinking maybe next week, or this week coming up, because it'll be Sunday tomorrow. So, I don't know. So he's thinking that week maybe he could get down here and cut, but I don't know. Because now, fucking Monday, they're talking 3 days of rain. Each day is about a 60 to 70% chance. So I'm kind of hoping that they'll cancel it, or maybe the smoke will cause it to cancel it, It's not going to be good for hay. Hay won't dry very well in this, but maybe it'll keep the rain away. So there's not even no damn breeze now. That's why the smoke is kind of lingering, but the smoke kind of keeps the bugs down too, which that's another plus for the smoke. It keeps the mosquitoes and the bugs down. And there's a little bit there. There's a fly right there, but it keeps them down a little bit. So I don't know. So, because I got, oh look, another fucking burdocks. So, fucking bastards. But yeah, I talked to the young guy. I'm knocking some hay down, but whatever. Just even walking on it, I feel bad because I'm knocking it down and I know it's not going to come back, so I'm not going to be able to cut it. So I talked to the young guy about this alfalfa and asked him if there was anything like a wild alfalfa or something that grows, and he said that he's never heard of nothing. He thinks what it is, it's voluntary alfalfa. So I'm guessing these seeds have been laying in the field for years, never did anything, and then now they're doing something. How that's possible, I don't know, because you think seeds would kind of rot after a while. So that's what he thinks this. It's alfalfa that was supposed to come up years ago, but it never did, and then now it's coming up. So I thought something was kind of wonky about it, because a lot of cars driving around all of a sudden. Because I don't know, it's just, I don't know. He doesn't think it's wild alfalfa. I don't think there really is a thing. He says it's all just voluntary type alfalfa that's just, I guess, deciding to grow. But I wouldn't do it years ago, which I don't know, because again, you wouldn't think that the seeds would be good after sitting in the field for that long. You would think after a year they would just kind of start to rot, but maybe I don't know, maybe the seeds were treated with something, and they just, I don't know. Or it's the alfalfa itself, like the old alfalfa was seeding, and it was putting up some kind of a seed, and it just happens to blow around on a windy day or when you're cutting and baling, and it just flings it around. So it's not a bad thing, though. I'm not going to complain, because I would like this to, it doesn't have to come in super thick like if it was freshly planted, but I would like it thicker than this. So I would like to see more of it. Even if it doesn't take it over completely, I'm still fine with it. I would like a mix between that and then, just normal grass that grows down here. A good mix like that, I think, would be pretty good to have. So, but I don't know. So, what are you gonna do? So, but you can see that there's even new ones starting to grow. Like even right there was a new one starting to grow. So, I don't know. They're trying. It's trying. But what I noticed though too is that this alfalfa is growing like underneath the bridge too. And I know that they tore that up when they were building the bridge. So even if my great-grandparents seeded that years ago before they built the bridge, the seeds would not be there now. They would have been disturbed and they would have just gotten destroyed. So that's why I think this alfalfa it's trying to seed itself back in here. You see that even right here. Whoa. Even right here. That's alfalfa growing right there. Right there too. That's all alfalfa. And all along here, it's all alfalfa. So it's trying to come back, but it's going that way too. Which is fine. So I would cut this too for hay, but so many fucking burdocks in there wouldn't really add up to anything. You'd just be better off just cutting it and then just letting it lay there and rot. So, but I don't know. So I guess it just kind of is what it is, at this fucking point. So I don't know. But they're talking 3 days of rain, so he heard that there could be rain tomorrow. But that might be over by his place, not here. But I didn't hear anything until Monday. So it's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday that there could be rain. So I don't know. We just don't we just don't need it. It's getting so freaking old. Our hay should have already been down and baled. I mean, I had Facebook memories and stuff like that. I don't know. I gotta look back on some of my YouTube videos too from last year even. I think by this time last year we were already done. We were already done baling. So, damn weather. Can't get it in fucking June, but we get it in July. But we should have had it in June when the hay was actively growing and needed it. It doesn't need it now. Now, once we cut it and bale it, yeah, we probably could use more, because it would be nice to kind of get it to grow back now a little bit, so we could maybe put our cattle down here and they could just graze down here. But then how long is that going to be before we can do it? Because we're going to have fields scattered all along the field, all around the field, and who knows when we're going to get a tractor. I mean, I don't know what to fucking do, you know? So, I don't know. It's just a major pain in the ass, but I guess we'll just take it one day at a time. But yeah, so there's even more alfalfa growing here. It's all growing along the bridge. That's not a bad thing, especially if it gets in there and produces seeds, and maybe those seeds will blow into our field. So, but yeah, there's definitely more alfalfa this year than there even was last year. So it's doing something. It's either old seeds that never took when they were planted, and it just decided to plant now and grow, or why it would be over there, I don't know, because that should have been all disturbed when they built the bridge. Well, you know it was. So, but it's just insane. So I don't know, but all I can say is something better get freaking done. Something better get changed, because this is getting to be old. We should have already been done, but what do you do? So there's a lot of alfalfa right here. Look at all this. I mean, here's a big juicy plant for you. There's a milkweed growing in there. I gotta keep an eye out for Canadian thistle and regular, well, there's tons of regular thistle. And then burdocks. I don't know what to freaking do. I would cut some hay. I should be cutting hay right now instead of making this video, but I don't know. I don't really want to cut it unless the cows are complaining. But I don't want to cut it either, because if they don't need it, then they're not going to eat it. Then it's just going to go to waste, and then we're just wasting fuel and time. So I don't know. A lot of cars driving around, I guess. But I don't know. I got a feeling too that, like, if we get if we get those 3 days of rain, that's when the cows are going to complain and bitch, because there's no fucking food. But I mean, I would cut it. I mean, I don't know. We could cut hay today. We could rake it or whatever, put it into a pile. But we don't have a building to put it in. Like, so, you know, like I would just put it in a building for storage. Let it dry out for a day, and then you could just, you know, put it into a building. But we don't have no buildings good enough to fucking do that anymore. They've all been wrecked or not taken care of, so then their roofs fucking leak. So we're kind of limited on what the hell we can do. So what do you do? So then we thought maybe we would just go maybe we would just go to the young guy and get a round bale. That would maybe tie us over. But all those bales are kind of, they're junky too. He doesn't even want anything for them because they're low quality bales. I think what it is it's all freaking either ditch hay, like ditches that have never been mowed before because nobody wants to mow them except him. And, you know, so he bales it. And, you know, and garbage hay like that is actually all right for bedding. Like if that's what you're going to use it for, is bedding. But for feed, it's not good. Yes, the cows will pick through it, find what they want and eat it, but then they leave such a large amount behind. It's not like you're going to take that and re-bale it and then use it for bedding, you know, like it's going to go to waste. So you're almost better off not even feeding it. You're just better off using it as bedding. So, but I don't know. So, what do, you know? Because I don't know what to do. But the cows are not complaining, I guess. Once they start mooing and complaining and breaking out a lot more, well, then you know they're looking for food. And then I thought about the north garden. I was like, well, maybe we could just do a temporary fence. And they could just have that. Now, again, that's not very much. That would probably last them a day. Which, you know, still a day. It's a day that we'll gladly take, but who's going to fence it off? Electric fencing would be the fastest route to go, but again, who's going to do it? So, I guess that 4-wheeler's coming back. Sounds like it. Oh, there's 2 of them this time. There's 2 4-wheelers. So, but I don't know. And then the young guy said that he would, apparently he's got to go up into the cities or whatever, so he was wanting me to count how many tines were missing on the rake. He said that he'd pick me up a package. Well, we're only missing 18, but then we have 2 that are bent, so 19, 20, that's you know, 20 that you'd have to replace. And you can get a 25 pack online for like $50. And I was going to do that this month, but it just never happened because of my chair took a crap. So it'll probably happen next week, or next month, but I don't know, because now I got to get stuff for the John Deere because I got a burned out work light. That was also my reverse light. Not a big deal because you can get them bulbs, I'm sure, anywhere. But then I wanted to get some John Deere antifreeze to replace the antifreeze that's in mine. Just so I feel better about it, because that's still the original shit. So, from when it was new. So I imagine she's getting probably a little wore out too, but I don't know. So, I'm just going to, yeah. So then I was thinking too, with all this stuff here that maybe we'll cut, because you can't use the new hauling rake because I don't have enough tines. The whole one side is missing tines because I put them on the opposite side for flipping windrows. So I thought, okay, well, you need a full, width of a rake to actually truly rake hay if you're going to rake hay that way. Well, the only rake that's got more tines on it than anything else is the old John Deere rake. So I thought, okay, well, maybe we could hook that up and use it. All it would need is greasing and double check everything. It is missing a couple of tines here and there, but it's not a big deal. Probably never going to find tines for that again. But it would be kind of nice to maybe have 2 rakes, because you could have one rake for one thing, and then John Deere for something else. So, because at least with the John Deere rake, it has a completely different hitch on it, so you can hook that to anything, which I could hook it to the farm all pretty easily, but I can't with the New Holland rake, because that hitch is much taller and heavier and whatever else, so you really can't do that. You could put it on the 400, it'd be fine, and on the 1586, which is what we've been doing, but on the A it's not going to work because the hitch will be too low. So it would have to go on the 400, and then or you could just use the John Deere rake and you'd be fine. But then I also forgot too that we got that dump rake, I think they call it. Basically it just, grabs the hay and puts it into a monster pile, and then when your dump thing is full, then you just dump it. And it's in a pile. Then you can just pick it up later on, or whatever you want to do with it, right? So that would probably be a lot more simpler, and that I think you could hook to the A as well. Because I think my uncle had it hooked up one year. I think he was doing something with it one year, and this was back when I was just a little kid. He was doing something with it, and we used it one time, and then it sat. So that would probably be better too, because then we could just put it into a pile and then just, there you go. And then come back with the pickup and load it up. So, but, I don't know. So, well, I don't know. I don't know what to frickin' do. That's going to be up to my uncle, because he's the one with the most amount of cattle, and I know he's a lazy tick turd. But then also, the cows are not complaining, so apparently they don't need anything then, but you can tell that they're not spending much time in the pastures anymore. Like the ex-mayor's pasture, and then that little rental piece, they're not really even going in there. They go in there every now and then, but it's not like they used to, because there's just no food in there, so there's really no sense for them. But they must be finding something, because they're not complaining as of yet. That's what I'm worried about too, is that during that 3-day fucking rain that we don't need, but I know we'll get it, that's when they're going to start freaking mooning and complaining. And it's like, well, there's nothing I can do, because you should have started complaining 4 days ago, because then I could have been down here cutting all this. Cows are stupid, and they complain at the worst times. Of course, they don't know. They don't know when the rain's going to come. They don't know what to tell us. So they can't even speak fucking English, so they wouldn't. I don't know. I can't read their mind, and they can't read mine. So, but yeah, I would like to get in here and cut this. It's kind of short, but it's there. It's cuttable. I think this is the one that the old timer used to cut. He used to cut one of these sections, but then he just stopped. Probably wasn't worth it. You weren't getting anything out of it. But it would be for us. But my uncle won't say nothing. He doesn't know what to do, and the cows aren't complaining, so I guess we just let it go for the weekend and pray that we don't get the rain, and hopefully we get get our hay cut. Because if we can get the hay cut and baled, well, then that means we're one step closer, and then we probably wouldn't have to be in such a hurry to cut hay, because well, I guess, I don't know, just anything really. I mean, we're still going to have to cut it regardless, because we're going to need it, because it's going to take probably a month before we even get these bales moved. But the hay will grow back, and it'll grow back all right. And then then they could just come out here and eat it, you know. But if I didn't have to cut that, well, then I wouldn't, you know, then I wouldn't bother. I could just let it go. But, you know, it's just, I don't know what to do. You need it, but then the cows aren't complaining. The rain is getting, it's just getting to my freaking nerves. So, this fucking rain. Because we don't need any more damn rain. We just don't need it. If we could get 2 weeks with no freaking rain, the young guy could get caught up, and then maybe he'd be here a little freaking sooner. He should have been here and done it already by now. But for crying out loud. And then these brothers, they cut their hay. Their hay sat down for 7 days before they could fucking bale it. I think they could have baled it sooner if they just would have came out and raked it at least once, but they didn't really seem too interested in doing it. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but it helps. Your hay will grow down pretty quick that way if you can roll it over. As long as you have this, either the sun or the wind to help dry out, or even both. But they have a full-time job too, so that's kind of hard for them to do that too. But they could have did it after work, and then it would have been fine. You know, because then they could have came back the next afternoon, and it probably would have been dry, and they could have baled it. So I don't know what to freaking do. So, but yeah, I guess we won't be cutting any hay today. So, because I don't know what to do. Cows aren't complaining, but yet we know that they're getting low on food, but they must be finding something to pick at. I don't know where they're at right now. I think they're in the main pasture. I don't even see them. So, but you got to kind of keep an eye on them too, because they're starting to break out. They've broken out like 3 times so far in the last month and a half. So they're running out. And then, like I said, I got this garden here. It's not much, I know that. I think it would have been a lot taller if I just never would have mowed it to begin with, but I did, because I didn't think we would need it. I thought things would have been all right, but no, that didn't go as planned either. But I mean, if we fenced it off and put them out there, even though we have like 13 cows, but I think one or two is a bull. So with 13 cows on that little garden, you might get a day out of that. But I really just want to do it where it's permanent. So we put an electric fence up and they can just have it. It'll just be like the rest of the pasture. And then we won't ever have to mow it. Nothing. You know, they can just have it. It just be part of the pasture. So, but what do? You know, so I don't know. But there's a little bit of hay around here that we could cut yet if they needed it. But the thing that I'm worried about is that they're going to complain. They'll start complaining when the rains hit. And I'm not going to be able to cut hay in the rain. So that's why I told my uncle to maybe go and maybe at least go get a bale. Call the young guy and see if we can schedule like a appointment. Because he wasn't going to be at home. So, because he's going to bale. He was going to go see if he could bale hay. So, but he didn't seem like he wanted to do that either. But, I mean, what do you do? I mean, when you got a person in the family that won't use words, I mean, he probably doesn't know what to do either. But, I mean, at least if you had, even if you didn't use the bale, you had the bale just sitting in the yard somewhere. At least you know you have it, and then you could just throw it out there if they complain too much. But then I could just be cutting our own hay, a little bit of it, and feeding it too. But then who's going to do all that work? It's going to be me stuck doing all the work when he really should be out there doing it too. That's the thing, is that, I could be on the A cutting hay, and then he could be on the 400 either with the rake or the dump rake, putting it all into a pile. And then we'll just keep going down the line until we're done, and then we can come back either late in the evening or come back the very next day and start picking it up and then just throwing it out there, and they could just, if they eat it, they eat it. That's what I'm concerned about too, is I don't know if they would eat it. I don't know if they want it green or if they want it brown. You think they would want it green because it would be really, really good. But I don't know. They might eat it brown too, but I don't know what to freaking do. If it was, like I said, if it was just me, I would have already done this. But I don't know. If it was the other way around, if I was the one that had 13 cows and my uncle only had 2, well then there wouldn't really be any say in anything. It'd just be me doing it all. So, but I don't know. So the young guy wanted me to call him back, so I suppose I probably should do that, because he was going to go to the city one of these days. So he said maybe he could pick up some tines. So pretty much, yeah, I'm going to need a 25 pack. I think that's really all you can get him. I don't think you can get, like a custom number. It's just a 25 pack. So I don't know, but I guess we'll see what happens. But so yeah, that's what's going on. We're getting smoked out again, and don't know if I want to cut hay or not. It's getting too late now to be cutting. I mean, it's not horribly late, but I don't want to cut hay and then the cows don't need it. They're not going to eat it. And if they were mooing, because you would know if they were mooing, because they'd all be doing it, and they'd be standing at the fence looking for food, and that would be our cue to give them something. Okay, well, then I could be out there cutting hay. If they were doing that today or even yesterday, there's no doubt in my mind that I'd be cutting hay right now, and then we could pick it up and give it to them. But again, I don't know if they would eat it. I guess if they're desperate enough, they would, but I don't know. So, well, what do you do? So, well, I guess, guys, I'm going to take off. Just want to let you guys know what was going on. Maybe the young guy will come this week. I don't know. If we get that 3-day rain, he can kiss that whole fucking week goodbye. So, it's just absolutely fucking insane. Can't even just give us just give us a month. Stop. Just stop fucking raining now, F off. You don't know how bad I want to just go up to Mother Nature, or whatever you want to call this, and just, bitch slap it. I'm just that close to wanting to do that, because it needs to F off. This should have all happened back in June. If it would have happened back in June, I wouldn't have had a problem. It would have stuck because the trail would have gotten muddy, whatever. Okay, whatever. 1, our hay would have done a lot better. 2, our pastures probably would have done a lot better. They would have grew in a lot nicer after a second growth. So now it's getting so late now that they're not going to grow. They're still going to grow, but it's going to slow way down now. And when you got 13 cows picking on it, they're gonna chew the shit out of it. So what do you do? So anyway, guys, I'm gonna take off. So I guess have a good day and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.